Good morning, glassmaking friends. I hope this finds you all well on this first day of our second or third lockdown, however we view it. It's a time of hope and reflection. Unfortunately, we're all safe here, and the Christmas holidays provided me with an opportunity to take stock and ruminate some creative ideas that have been sort of in the background of my mind for some time. I wanted to begin the year with a fresh look and a fresh approach and some fresh challenges. So I thought that I would take on board two things. One, I would endeavour to do more drawing and painting myself with a view to take on or investigate some original source material to do some primary observation work, and living in the countryside or semi-rural area, I'm fortunate that I can go out for walks and find my source, and that's very important to me. The other thing that I did was to join an online art and design community and of workshops, and actually I did my first workshop at the weekend and created this Indian ink drawing among a couple of other less visually attractive drawings, which I'll hold back from showing you. So I really enjoyed this. I made myself working with a media that I haven't worked with for a very, very long time, and I gave myself the challenge of working as loose as I possibly could, because I've noticed quite recently that I'm becoming quite prone to almost working in a scientific method of recording as accurately as possible, and at the expense of having a little bit of expression in my work. And I just wanted to bring that energy of the moment into my work a bit more. Why am I showing you this today when I actually had a view to show you how to do some mould making? Well, one of my New Year challenges was to make more drawings, and another one is to introduce glass casting to my glass making friends. Now, I'll show you, glass casting is not something that I specialised in at university, so I think the best sort of way to show you, or the fastest way to show you, is to take a look at this book, a brief look at some casting examples in this book, Contemporary Glass, Suzanne France, and to have a look at some images of some cast work very briefly. So this is a piece of cast glass here, made by Keith Brocklehurst, and there's another piece of cast glass here. I think this is a range of processes, including casting, and there are some more examples of cast glass. So it's all very unique and very different. I think what these pieces have in common is that we are working with mass. Okay, this is a piece of fused glass. There's some, I believe there would be some casting in here. No, it's more fused glass. So the forms that are solid, have some depth to them, are usually cast pieces of glass. They can be coloured, they can be clear, and they're very inventive. So I thought that it would be wonderful and beneficial to us all to go on a journey of making something new, and to start with a pop art form. So we've got the heart, but I created these little hearts at the weekend. I started off by sort of using some cookie cutters and just having some very generic flat shapes, and then I sculpted them, or fettled them to get these very soft curved hearts. I think this was the first one that I created, and you can see it's got a very flat form. And my view is that we will do some cast glass paperweights from these, and they will have some depth, and we can put some images or little pieces of coloured glass in there. But they are curved, and then this morning I noticed that there is a link between these drawings here and the curves that I have recorded on these drawings and the curves here. So there's a direct connection, and I say to people, nature repeats itself. Yes, it's infinitely unique, but the structures are repeated. There's only so many structures that are possible. So what are we going to do to create some cast glass paperweights, for want of a better word, or forms in which we will make individual and unique by putting our own little artworks inside, is to make some moulds. Now I am going to make, hopefully I'm going to make some ceramic moulds for casting in. Now I haven't done this before. The reason I'm doing it is because it takes a lot of time to do mould making, and I want to share this process. Therefore I don't want to make a plaster mould made of flint and silica, silica and plaster, because it's a one-off mould, and there's also materials that are not friendly within the house. So I want to make some ceramic moulds that will be fired, that can actually be used in a range of environments and can be reused. So I'm going to go through that process now. I've started off by making these forms, which I'm going to cast over, and I've made these with air-dried clay, just a product that you can buy off the shelf in a local hobby store. It's actually very nice to work with. I've avoided it for a number of years because I thought I was a bit snooty about it and thought, oh, that's very hobbyish, I don't use that. But actually, I really enjoyed working with it. It didn't dry my hands out as much as regular clay, and it's quite clean to work with. I did, let the pieces dry. They dried in 24 hours, became quite white, and I fettled these forms down with some specialist tools, such as this. This tool was really nice to shape it when it was wet, still plastic. And further to that, I went through the wet and dry aluminum oxide process from the 240 right the way up to the 600. In doing so, I did wear a dust mask. So if you want to experiment with that at home, that's a really nice project. It's a nice project to do with young people as well. You can work on a little board, a little dinner table cork board. You can use scissors, you can use kitchen utensils to shape with, as long as you clean them really well afterwards. So what's the next step? I'm going to actually create a form over this. I'm using this as a starting point, and I'm going to create that form with this material. It's a sort of rubber or modern material that's bendy, and it's heated. I heat it to become liquid, and I'm going to pour it over here to take a cast of this form, and I'll go through that process with you in the next video. So thanks for listening to my meanderings and my explanations and justifications, and we'll move on to the next step very shortly.